35th SADC Summit is underway. What will be happening during this session?
Thank you very much, Alicia, and a very good afternoon to the listeners. The summit is underway, as you've indicated. One of the main things they are talking about here is the industrialization. You remember the SADC summit in Victoria Falls last year came up with or agreed to take industrialization as the main subject to push in the region. So what has happened now is that they've agreed that this is a very important subject, and now they are here to adopt the implementation strategy. Mm-hmm. Yes, they've agreed on it, but the most important thing is to be able to implement it, because you can have good policies. If those policies are not implemented properly, they are as good as non-existent.
Zondile, look, if you can just give us a bit of history here, how does the role exchange happen each year? Who determines which member gets which role? How does that process unfold?
As you indicated in your introduction, that President Mugabe will be handing over the chairpersonship to President Ian Khama of Botswana. So this is a 15-member bloc. So what happens is that the presidency or the chairpersonship is on a rotational basis. The leaders sit down and discuss and decide who takes over. But what happens? The most important thing is that all of them do get the chance to head this body, because this is a body that is charged with looking at issues of the region. So it's not only one country. It's a function of discussion of the leaders that determine who gets the chairpersonship. And you would know that there's also the organ that South Africa is chairing, or is also the outgoing chair, depending on the situation, because, you know, Lesotho is supposed to take over the chairpersonship of Troika. Mm-hmm. But given the situation in Lesotho, I honestly don't think the leadership will give that responsibility, because Lesotho at the moment is still listed as a state. So what basically happens is that you will have the chairperson of SADC, and then you will have the chairperson of the Troika. So being determined by the discussions that happen amongst them, the leaders themselves. Mm-hmm. So we would not know, for example, what happened as for Troika, as I indicated, because it's not clear. Lesotho is not that stable as yet. Mm-hmm.
Look, now back to Ian Khama, who is expected to take over from Mugabe. It's public knowledge that he openly differed in views of Mugabe when it came to a number of continental issues. But Khama himself has been lambasted for his rulings on miniskirts, alcohol and gay rights in Botswana. What does this mean for him as he takes over as the chair? Is this good or bad for Botswana, Mzwandile?
Well, I wouldn't say is it good or bad for Botswana, because this is really not about Botswana. This is about the region. This is about 15 member states. We actually posed that question to our foreign minister, our Minister of International Relations, Minister Maite Mashabane, who said it's not so much about personalities. It's about the agenda of the region. Right now, the agenda that has been adopted by the region is that we need to industrialize. We need to integrate economically. We need to make sure that we trade even much better than we were doing before. The issue about member countries' domestic policies really doesn't arise that much, because whoever chairs has to look at the interests of the region, not necessarily the interests of his member countries or of his own country.
All right. And before I let you go very quickly, are you able to tell us what role South Africa will be given this time as they vacate the organ on security, Mzwandile?
It remains very, very difficult, because right now you know that South Africa is the chair of Troika. Mm-hmm. Because it was extended, Lesotho couldn't do it. Now we are facing this similar situation where South Africa has to vacate this position, but Lesotho remains unstable. So it's very interesting, really, to see what is it that South Africa will be given in terms of the role. You know, they are very key in terms of mediating in Lesotho. Of course, we are the only neighbor of Lesotho. So when they run into trouble, the first people that feel their difficulties in South Africa. Even if South Africa doesn't continue with the role of being a chairperson of the organ, I would imagine they would give South Africa some kind of a role to play, because we have invested a lot of resources, of course, through SADC and through the AU in Lesotho. It's difficult to think that South Africa will just walk away and not be given some role, especially because, our current deputy president is actually the facilitator in Lesotho. So we can safely say there will be some role. We're just not sure what role it will be.
Thanks for that. That's Mzwandile Mbeje, SABC political reporter in Botswana's capital, Gaborone, where SADC is meeting for the 35th summit.